So today we're going to divide hostas. All right, let's do that again. Hostas are really easy to divide. You basically just kind of slice off a piece of it, and that's kind of done. Hey, how you doing? So today we're going to talk about dividing hostas. Hostas are really easy to divide. You basically cut them up and replant them, and you have some free plants, so it works really well. We're over at a friend's house, has a bunch of hostas, and they first asked us to fix a little area they have with hostas where there's a hole, and then we're also going to take some divisions and plant them in our yard as well. So really the tools for the job are, you need this is called a transplant spade, or I think it's called. Yeah, it's kind of a fancy thing, but it's narrow and it's deep, so you can cut into the roots, and you can also go fairly far down, which is nice. And then I also just have, I like this little shovel. This is just handy for digging stuff up, so you don't need giant tools. So what we're going to do is, we have some hostas here, and if you notice, they ring the tree really nicely, but there's this empty space right here. Empty space shot now. Basically, we're going to cut little pieces of these other plants out, and we're going to drop them in here, and it'll, in a couple of weeks it'll grow in and it'll look like we barely even touched it. So
1 week, you told me 1 week.
When did I say that? Did I say that earlier?
A couple weeks ago.
Oh, no, so in a week it'll look fine. All right, so watch and learn. The interior of a hosta plant is basically, it's a ton of stems coming up, and what we're going to do is we're going to cut off some of these stems and dig them out. So basically I'm just going to take a corner of the plant here, and I'm going to put my shovel in there, and then I'm just going to put a foot on it and go down like that. So it's kind of like cutting a square plug out of the ground, and you want to try and not cut all the leaves, but just go around. These are really a fibrous root, so it's kind of like digging a pineapple out of the ground. Is this a show about hostas or puppies? So we're digging around. Hey, out, out, come on, out. Okay, stay there. Yeah, that's one way to fill the hole. Just put a dog. Put a puppy where the plants aren't growing. Durr. Durr. All right, so there we go. So this is your divided plant. This is your division. I mean, you can see how it's a really tough root. You got some of the plant. So we'll take this, we'll put it over here. This, we're just going to fill in with dirt, and this hosta will grow and fill this out no problem. We're just going to dig a hole that's correspondent to the size of the root ball here, and we'll drop this in. So we're going to drop this in. What I always do is I always cut back on the number of leaves from the divided plant, because basically you've cut off a huge amount of the roots, and I think you need to cut off a corresponding number of leaves. Otherwise, you've got a very small number of roots that are trying to support a whole ton of leaves. Thank you, love. You could just break these off too, but I guess the boss likes to use the tool. Really simply, this goes in. You want the level of the plant to be slightly below the soil level. And we'll just drop it in.
You want the ball to be below the soil?
You want the ball to be below the soil level slightly. There's a worm there. Nice Mr. Worm. And press that down. You want the soil to contact with the roots. And then I like to build a little moat around here, just so when we put the water in, some of the water is held here rather than running down the side of the hill. Sandcastle skills come into play here. So that way the water stays there, it doesn't run away, and it has time to soak in. And you should come back to this every day or two and water it more, because the root system definitely needs moisture and it needs time to grow. So that's really the secret of it. Hostas are really easy. They got a real fibrous root. You just cut down, slice around. A sharp blade is helpful on the shovel. Pull it out, fill in that part with some soil. You don't want a big hole there. and then drop it in where you need it and water it regularly, and it'll fill out and it'll look great. All right, your shot's done. Go. Ow!